Well, had a nice retirement party planned here for the show, Horse. I'm all dressed up. I wore, I won't call it a suit, but it's the closest thing to it, right?
You look stunning.
Do I?
Yeah, you look really good.
What color would you say my shirt is today?
Salmon.
Salmon. You're exactly right. And Jim Colony's supposed to be here. He's smoking me like a salmon right now. Where is he?
Yeah, he is.
He's supposed to be here for his own party.
I know. He's ruining it.
This thing was
He's over
supposed
getting
to be
food
filmed.
right now, I believe.
No, now I'm getting punked. We were supposed to punk the morning show, or he was,
Right.
by saying I retired, but now I'm going to turn around and do a couple of hours with Starkey. And now all of a sudden everybody's gone.
Maybe he really did retire.
I feel he might have. I feel like it's a surprise party with no surprise. What am I supposed to do now? I'm all dressed up with nowhere to go.
Well, there's still a party, just that the guest star is not here.
This is throwing me for a loop. I'm gonna be honest with you, Horse. This is an outrage. I thought they were gonna film this thing. We're getting punked. I am, at least. Mackie told me I should have rented a tux. Did you hear what Colony got from Sid?
No. Stick.
No. Apparently he lent Sid a book many years ago about World War II, I think. And mentioned at some point that he never got it back. So not only did he get it back, he got it back with an autograph.
Wow.
How about that? Who's in there, Horse? Anybody who can help me?
He's coming. The man is coming.
It's about time. I guess in retirement you can do whatever you want, huh?
We have
Here
a
he
special
comes.
song for him right off the bat.
You do? By who?
By Greg.
Hi, Jim. Can you put your headphones in?
Yeah, I can, but I was just out in the other room.
You don't seem impressed that I got all dressed up for you. You seem discombobulated. This is all going to end the way it went for 40 years, isn't it? Nothing different about the final day.
It is, except for the fact that and this may not be the first or the last time that I'm in here.
I know. Well, let's pretend
It's a
you're
weird,
retired.
It's a weird retirement.
Everything's ruined if you don't at least go along with the gag here. I mean, you're semi-retiring, right?
Yes. No, there's no question about that. I mean, I haven't done anything all week, and I came in today, and I'm, getting, cleaning out my computer, and I'll probably leave a workspace in there, though. I've got your book.
What book?
The book that you lent me last week.
You want me to autograph it like Sid did?
Like Sid
before
did.
I give it back
I
to
know.
you?
I know. I gave Sid a book a while ago.
You're not impressed that I dressed up for you? Not even a little bit?
I am. I mean, there's got to be some other reason.
No.
Like you're
this
going
is
to a wedding later today?
What
or?
are you kidding? They're having this catered out there.
I know they are. I had some food
There's
already.
There's shrimp. There's cannolis out there.
I've had those things, and I'm going to have some more.
We have a song for you, Horse.
You do?
Yeah. Horse number 2. Hit it.
Packed with anger and spite and stuff. That's what our Jimbo Jim is made of. Isn't it crazy? He's such a big baby, and someone so miserable can be so incredible too.
Screw you.
He's Jimbo, Jimbo. Look for the Jimbo Bear.
That is so good.
The Jimbo Bear is still out there, by the way.
And that was a real clip from what incident? It could have been any. I mean, it could have been Tuesday at 11:30, right? Or 9:30?
Yeah, I don't know when it started, but it might have had something to do with, I think, Angel Cabrera won the U.S. Open in 2007.
Smoking cigarettes down the final fairway, as I recall.
Yes.
My kind of golfer.
Right, and you haven't taken up smoking on the golf course, have you?
No, but I don't watch golf unless somebody is in
But
some
I noticed
ways
that his logo,
disrespecting the game.
like his sponsor was Bimbo, like which I guess is, and they own Entenmann's, for example. That's one of the things that they own. They own a bunch of stuff, and so somehow we saw the Bimbo Bear, and then there was Bimbo, Jimbo, and then Mike Kearney, who was our morning show producer at the time, photoshopped my face onto the Bimbo Bear logo, and that's if people have taken have participated in the Find Jim's Balls golf event, and you've got a little picture of the Jimbo ball. That's what it is, so that's where that came from. I can't remember what I was upset about at the time.
Horse, I think that deserves another play. I suppose I should clarify which horse I'm referring to. I'm going to call you Jim on your phone.
Oh, thank you, Joe. I appreciate
How about
that.
that?
That's
and
fine.
I'll go with horse.
Active horse and retired horse.
Yeah, our horse.
Yeah, but then Hathorn's here too, and he was
Oh my
horse
God,
number.
he's actually listed
something.
as he's the only one listed as horse on my contacts. In fact, when I went to
How
text
confusing
you,
is that?
when I went to text you today, I went to horse, realized it was Hathorn, and you're in there as Colony. He's in there as just good old Joe Kopp because I didn't even know him when I put him in the contacts.
Right. Yeah, you're in. Well, the thing is, I think Joe is in. Producer Joe Kopp is in there as Joe Kopp. You're just Starkey
Right.
because there are other guys that I have Joes that
Lots
are
of
just,
Joes, I
just
imagine.
last names.
I have Joe Nedney, believe it or not.
Really?
Should we get him on the air here?
Did he fall down when you text him?
Can we hear
Like
that again,
Deshae
horse?
Townsend running into him.
Here we go.
Packed with anger and spite and stuff. That's what our Jimbo Jim is made of. Isn't it crazy? He's such a big baby, and someone so miserable can be so incredible too.
Screw you.
He's Jimbo, Jimbo. Look for the Jimbo Bear.
Packed with spite, and what else was the opening line?
Anger?
spite, and something else.
I don't know, but I'm still lovable at the same time.
He captured it all in about 20
Yeah,
seconds.
That was
there.
a Giannotti production, I imagine.
So what's the day been like for you, Jim? Emotional?
No.
Not at all?
No,
all
because
these people here in your honor?
Yeah, I guess.
It's like a
They're
living
he-
it's
they're-
like a living funeral for you.
Okay, you were out in the other room, right? Catered by
Yeah.
right, catered very very nicely, and they're here for the food.
No, they're not.
Don't you agree?
No.
No one has seeked me
Jim.
out at all.
Take this in. It's when else will this ever happen? When you're dead. That's it.
Oh, that's true. And
This
I
is
won't
a-
be around to see it. Well, I'll be around,
This is
but I won't see it.
It's a living funeral, but a happy one for you.
Yeah, it is because now I'm going to be doing some part-time stuff. Like for example, when Ron's off, I'll be
Next week.
filling in. Oh, he's off today. I'm not in on Monday. I turned that down.
I think
I think
that
Muller's off next week too. I heard.
you need to take this in today. Regardless of how much you're going to be working in the future, regardless of if you're going to make a comeback someday, like Michael Jordan, it doesn't matter. Take it in. People are not here for the food. I didn't even know food was going to be served today. I'm here for you.
I
Horse
appreciate
is
that,
here
Joe.
for you.
Why
All
did you-
these other people
You
are
really
here
got
for
dressed up. You look very nice.
you. Thank you.
Man, I'm trying to think the last time, and even the last wedding I went to was in Florida. So I didn't wear a sport coat.
I hadn't put on a tie. I told my wife this morning since before the pandemic. First time I've put on a tie for you.
And so then I guess this demonstrates how often we go to church that I haven't been dressed up. But I'm trying to think. Before that, it must have been another wedding. And
This is what I wore to Craig Riley's
might have
wedding.
been Muller's
Same shirt.
wedding. It might have
I
been
didn't
Muller's
make it to
wedding.
Muller's wedding. I think that's still a point of contention. No, he didn't care. How was Muller's wedding?
It was good.
Did you cry?
Actually, Giannotti, who got married first, Muller or Giannotti?
Giannotti.
Greg did? Okay.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Horse wasn't invited. Were you invited to either?
I went to Greg's.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't think I got invited. I was invited to Muller's, and I couldn't make it, unfortunately. You weren't invited to Mulsey's?
No, I must have got lost in the mail.
The mail does run slowly.
You got
Although
other...
I noticed something about ever since they were talking about like packages and how you had to send them out early, we've
Yeah.
gotten stuff much more rapidly than we have in the past. When they say that it's going to take extra long, this was like before Christmas, and I was surprised at how quickly stuff was delivered to our house. Whether it was a gift that somebody else sent or whether it was something we ordered online, and we don't do that. Do you do much of online stuff?
Yes.
Online ordering?
Oh, yes.
You guys do?
All the time.
Yeah, we don't. We do more of it than we used to, but we still don't do it all that much.
Do you feel empowered to rip the company, Jim, if you wanted to right now, or rip anybody inside of it who's ever worked here? Because this is your forum.
No,
and
because I'm still
why
employed.
do you care? You're not
I'm
really.
still
Are
employed.
you?
Yeah, on a part-time basis.
A freelancer, right?
No, I still get to fill out a pay.
Then why are we doing this, Source?
I don't know.
This isn't even a retirement.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I just, whatever anybody else wants to do, I'm okay with it.
I thought your compatriots were going to film this first segment. See, here comes Corey, just for you. You think she'd be here otherwise? No.
No, because I need help filling out a timesheet. I've never had to do that before.
Or so you just going to roll with colony-related treats today, or
No.
what are we going to do? We got another one for us?
Oh, I've got plenty.
Let's hear another one. Just play. I'll call for them, and you play them randomly. It was sad hearing you do an update today. That's when it really hit me, when I heard your voice on the update. How long have we known each other?
We probably met in 1990 or 90. When did I first get here? 90 or 91? 91 was when I first got here. So I'm sure we ran into one another, whether it was at Steelers camp.
Penguins, probably.
Or Penguins.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I
A
covered
long time.
Did you play in 1992? And when the Penguins, because I got here just after they won the Stanley Cup. That's when I started in July of 91. So they had won their first cup. In 92, we went to Chicago, and that's where they clinched on the road, as they always do, right? They always win. Forget about the
Yeah, that's
Penguins
a
ever
tradition.
clinching a
Yes.
cup at home. All 5 have been won on the road. But in Chicago, I remember, did you ever play basketball on the roof of that hotel?
No.
You didn't play? Okay, because I remember playing basketball. Fedco played and some other people played. I do remember that about
Was
that.
Fedco any good? I imagine a little intense.
He was
on
better.
The basketball court.
He was better than I thought he'd be, but people would say that about me because I look like I've nothing, and I was actually okay.
Well, I didn't really start covering anything of substance until '97, which was the Penguins.
Okay.
And when you got here, you were already covering pro sports, right? Plus,
well, we were the flagship of the Steelers.
there was no
at the time.
newspaper for the second Penguins Cup.
Yeah, Bill's first year, and yeah, you're right. What a year.
I mean, there
Bubba,
was the
what a
green-
year of stuff.
Yes.
When you think about everybody. Now, Pitt basketball wasn't. They had some good players, but they weren't that good at the time. But everything else, the Pirates are in the NLCS. The Penguins are on their way to winning 2 straight Stanley Cups. And Bill Cowher's first year, they finished first in the AFC East. And I still maintain if he had started Bubby in the playoff game against the Bills, that things may have turned out a little
No,
bit
the Bills
differently.
were rolling at that point, and they blew out the Steelers, and they were going to win no matter what.
Right.
They were coming off of the greatest comeback in history.
Until they got to the Super Bowl.
It's because of Wani and his defense in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But that was a really good year, and it was interesting that there was the Post-Gazette strike, and that's when the Trib made some inroads into the city.
Yes, they did.
And so that
Jimmy
was
Adamak had the headline in the Trib, ran it down the right rail of the front of the sports page, and all it said was Pens win cup. That was the headline the night they won the Stanley Cup. Were you there?
No. The first night when they won the game in Minnesota, what was it, like 8-0 or something?
Yes.
It was a blowout. My wife and I had come into town to look for a place to live, and we had found a condo in McCandless that we really liked, and we got it. And so we're staying overnight at the William Penn Hotel, and we're watching the Penguins win the Stanley Cup. And so I open the windows and try to hear if there was any kind of commotion downtown. No, because everybody was on their way to the airport apparently. So no, I was not working in Pittsburgh at that time. Yeah.
Jim, would you do us a favor?
What's that?
Do an update? We'd like to hear one, and Horse has requested that you do the update. Horse, I'll throw it to you. Go ahead, Jim.
Oh, I thought you were going to throw it to him to hit some kind of music to play.
Wait, it's not time yet?
No, it's only 10:14.
Oh, my God.
10:15.
I mistimed it, and I apologize, Horse. Who's the biggest jackass you ever interviewed in this town, athlete-wise?
Man, I can't remember. It'd be too easy to say Bonds or Bonilla.
What were your interactions like with Bonds?
Infrequent, I guess. I don't remember.
Hostile?
The one thing, no. The one thing I remember about him is that he was just, I don't know. It was just very strange because he was one of the, he was like even Barrasso, who was, I never had a problem with him. Barrasso criticized me once because one of the things that when I did those famous Panther Hotline shows, okay, and back then Pitt played Saturday afternoons. It was almost without every day, and most of the times it was noon, 1 o'clock, something like that. So when I would be doing the Panther Hotline shows, the Penguins, it seemed like they always had home games on Saturday. So I'd be doing the Panther Hotline shows, and the Penguin players would be driving into the arena for their game that night. Because Kevin Stevens, I remember, oh, Jimmy, oh, man, those Pitt football, they're brutal. I love them. That kind of thing from Kevin Stevens. And then Barrasso, he cornered me one time and said he didn't like the way that I talked about the something, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And somebody had told him, it was a caller that said whatever they said and said something pretty bad about a college kid, which I wouldn't tolerate that stuff. That they're college players. And I, you want to criticize the coaches, okay, but the players, I mean, come on, let's keep it. I mean, you want to make a constructive criticism or legitimate criticism, but none of this name calling stuff. I wouldn't put up with it. I hung up on the guy, and so Barrasso got bad information. But I do remember that about him. Bonds was just, he just didn't want to deal with anybody, and yet he and Barrasso, who also didn't want to deal with anybody, which you came to know, is that they were two of the most Barrasso was one of the most intelligent guys.
No doubt. He was a great quote. And insightful.
He didn't go to college. I mean, he came straight out of high school to your team in Buffalo, and then he came here. And he was as well-spoken, and you're right, and as insightful as any athlete that I've ever covered. And yet he was just tough to deal with. I mean, even his teammates didn't like him. And I never understood that, because some of the stuff that he went through with the family situation, you would have thought that he'd be more, I don't know, just this would be different than he was.
How about the nicest man you ever met in Pittsburgh sports, media included?
You're trying to get me to say Jerry DePaula.
I mean, I was going to mention him. Yeah,
no, there's
he's
a lot
in
of
the
good
top
guys.
three. Fleury,
I would
DePaula,
say, okay,
Ray Fittipaldo,
Marc-Andre Fleury is good. Potash
is nothing but nice. Yes,
Potash is. There's a lot of really good people here. There really are.
But some people you've never seen angry. You've never had a run-in with.
Oh, I've
seen
Fleury.
Irritated.
I've seen Fleury angry, not with me.
I have seen Fleury angry too, as a matter of fact.
Well, I remember one of the things when Bilesman first took over, and I remember going to. Actually, did you go to? I went to Washington. There was a game that they played. They played in D.C., and Fleury was awful because I think they lost. Like it was like when Sully took over, where they didn't win right away.
Right.
Bilesman even, and so Fleury gets pulled. And he goes down the runway at the Capitol Center, and he takes his stick and he just whacks it off one side, just smashed it to smithereens. And I remember, and after the game, he wasn't there. He wasn't around to talk because I remember talking to him after the game. I asked him the next practice back in Pittsburgh. I said, you okay now? You settled down? He goes, yeah. I said, how about that stick? He goes, it did not make the trip. So it was just, he just smashed it. But I've never seen him in terms of just being I've seen him sad.
How about DePaula?
He's just a regular old guy.
He's nice 100% of the time. Who's the nicest person at this radio station?
Boy, that's a tough one. Jeff
Hathorn. Yeah. You might be right about
that. Shelby and Josh are too young. Have them once they've been around for a little while. Then you see what's going on. I mean, everybody's nice, but
Josh Miller,
good guy. Although I related the story earlier when Colin said, "Do you ever have like?" I remember trying to establish some kind of a connection on an interview basis with him when he was a player. I could never do it because I thought I had kind of a quirky sense about me, and I know he did, definitely. And I thought, we can do some fun stuff together. And he was probably messing with me. Every time I tried to do something like that with him, it just didn't work. It fell flat. I don't think I ever ran any of them back on the air. He wouldn't play along. And having gotten to know, in fact, I never asked him about that after. I think he was probably messing with me, knowing what I was trying to do, and he was just being uncooperative.
Jim, I'd like to get into some more of your career, if you don't mind. Can we do that?
We can talk about regular stuff, Joe. I mean,
I don't feel like talking about regular stuff. We have the whole show to talk about regular stuff. What are we going to talk about? The Steelers center position for next year? Who's the next quarterback going to be? We've got that for 1,000 straight days. I can't talk about that again.
I'll tell you.
Jimmy Garoppolo, will they trade for Aaron Rodgers?
Were you sad watching the
General Haig at right tackle?
The Ben video, were you sad watching that?
Yes, I wept.
The saddest part of the Ben video was when he was cleaning out his locker, and you could see the one name remaining above a locker.
Ron?
Was Kendrick Green in the locker next to him.
I thought it might have been Ron's name or a little column by Ron in his locker.
I didn't see Ron's picture, though, up on that wall that he had.
Did he have media people up on the wall?
No, it was his family.
Horse has a treat?
Jim Colony, man, I just want to let you know that, we'll always have Gibsoni and Wexford, I guess. We both live out that way. I wish we became a little closer. I know early in the year I referenced you as Jim from Taxi. I said that because that was my favorite show, and as a kid growing up. And Jim, he's my favorite person. So the fact that you're leaving, it's a shame. I hope it wasn't the fact that you had to stand during the Super Bowl and the tickets of that nature. I hope it's not health reasons. But again, I'm close enough
Health
out there in
reasons.
Gibsonia in the Wexford area where I think you and I could reach out and take our relationship to another level. You're going to be missed around this office, man. I'm telling you. Remember that time? Well, we'll talk about it over beer. Later, brother.
When was that from?
I don't know.
Were you going to leave at one other point, or was this
No.
Mott? Is this
I can tell you where it's from.
where?
One day, Jim, when we were all doing the morning show together, Jim decided to take a day off, and instead of just saying on the air that he took the day off, we made everyone believe
Oh, that's
that
right.
Jim
Yeah,
had
yeah.
retired
Okay.
suddenly.
Right.
That was great
That
to
was a
hear
long time
Josh's
ago.
voice again. All right.
I thought that was current for a second.
So did I. I still thought it at the end.